Now, here is an uncomfortable truth. If everything on your roadmap feels like it needs to happen right now, you've already lost. Now, I'm going to tell you about a VP who said something that perfectly captures this problem. After months of watching his team struggle to deliver anything on time, he finally admitted, "We're moving at the speed of molasses on everything because we're trying to move at the speed of light on everything." Now, does that sound familiar? You've got brilliant people, solid strategy, decent funding. But you can't deliver anything on schedule because your definition of now includes literally everything you want to accomplish. Now I'm going to find the spot here that we want to talk about, expand our sequence, and let's walk through this. Now, here's what's actually happening when everything feels urgent. First, critical work gets delayed because teams are spread too thin. The truly time-sensitive project, the one with external deadlines or market windows, gets the same attention as internal process improvements that could easily wait until next quarter. Second, focused delivery becomes impossible. Your best people spend more time in status meetings and coordination calls than actually building things. Context switching is destroying productivity. And third, delays cascade across your entire portfolio. When the infrastructure work falls behind, it blocks the product launch, which delays retention improvements, which pushes back the compliance projects. The irony is that trying to make everything urgent actually makes everything slower. You're not building momentum, you're creating execution quicksand, where nothing can gain real traction. Now, the solution is not better project management tools or more aggressive timelines. It's developing what might be the hardest skill in strategy execution: the discipline to distribute work across time horizons instead of cramming everything into the immediate future. Now, today I'm going to walk through a 5-step action plan that will transform how you think about timing and urgency. And this framework has helped dozens of organizations go from execution chaos to delivery rhythm. So first, you need to force every initiative into one of 3 buckets. That's the now, next, later framework. Now equals what must happen this quarter to avoid real consequences. This gets strict limits, ideally 2 to 3 major initiatives maximum, depending on your current team size. The next bucket equals what should happen in the following quarter, assuming that current work stays on track. These initiatives are important and ready, but they can wait their turn. And the later bucket basically equals everything else that's strategic but not time critical. This is your strategic backlog, important work that gets proper attention when the time is right. And here's the key: you can't just throw everything in now because it feels important. The framework only works if you enforce the limits. Now, I worked with a studio once trying to launch a new version, implement live operations, and rebuild their analytics platform all in the same quarter. And when we applied this framework, analytics went to now because it was blocking everything else, but the new version launch moved to next, and live ops moved to later. And it felt at first like we were slowing down, but in reality, it was the fastest path to getting all 3 done well. Now next, you need clear rules for what qualifies something to move from next to now. And I use 3 gates. The first one is strategic readiness. The initiative needs to align with current priorities and have clear success metrics. The next one was resource readiness. The required teams have capacity and aren't already committed to other now work. And then lastly, market readiness. There's a compelling reason why this needs to happen now rather than next quarter. And if it doesn't pass all 3 tests, it stays in next, no matter how much someone wants to accelerate it. And then, make your time horizons visual. Create a simple horizontal timeline. Q1 shows your now initiatives, Q2 shows what moves from next to active development, and Q3 and beyond shows the later work that's been properly sequenced. And this visual forces honest conversations about capacity and realistic timelines. When leadership can see that adding one more urgent project to Q1 means everything shifts out by 6 weeks, then the trade-off becomes real. Then use portfolio velocity checks. Even with good frameworks, you could still overcommit if you don't understand your actual delivery capacity. And this is where portfolio velocity becomes critical. Look at your historical throughput. How many major initiatives can your organization actually complete per quarter? And I don't mean in a perfect world with unlimited focus, but in reality, with meetings and context switching and normal execution friction. Use that number as your governor. If your historical velocity is 2 major initiatives per quarter, don't plan 3 just because they all seem important. The math doesn't care about your ambition, right? Set capacity limits per quarter and regularly audit workload per team. This isn't about lowering your standards, it's about being honest about capacity so you can actually deliver what you commit to. So your action item here is to calculate your team's historical throughput over the last, say, 4 quarters. That's your baseline for realistic planning. And then educate leaders on trade-offs. The hardest part of this system is cultural. Teaching leaders that later is not the same as never, and that strategic discipline requires saying no to good ideas at the wrong time. And this requires practice. Run prioritization workshops where leadership teams physically sort initiatives into now, next, later buckets, with strict limits on each. It's uncomfortable at first, and everybody wants their priority in the now bucket. But something interesting happens when you force the trade-offs. Leaders start having honest conversations about what really needs to happen when. They stop treating every good idea as an emergency and start building realistic execution plans. Reinforce the concept of organizational work-in-progress limits. Just like manufacturing, your execution system has throughput constraints. Respecting those constraints is what enables consistent delivery. And when you properly distribute work across time horizons, execution stops feeling frantic and starts feeling rhythmic. Teams can focus deeply on what's actually now instead of juggling competing emergencies. And more importantly, you build credibility. When you say something is truly urgent, people believe you because they know you don't use that word lightly. The organizations that execute consistently are not trying to do everything at once. They are the ones with the discipline to sequence their ambitions across realistic time horizons. So your homework this week is to take your current initiative list and force it into now, next, later buckets. And be ruthless about the now limits. Everything can't be now, but the right things can be now, and that makes all the difference. Stop treating your roadmap like a panic attack and start treating it like the strategic instrument it should be. Now, to get a robust system for managing urgency, protecting team focus, and turning chaotic priorities into rhythmic delivery, grab our free Survive and Thrive guide. The link is in the video description.